So now, so you said that your planning process for the rest of your groups does not like mirror this, and this is your lowest group of students in your classroom. So anyone that's in a range from a 16, well, 14, 16s, and 18s are in this group.
Yes.
And you spoke about a student that's in this group because of accuracy, but you said he was in another group. So would this group that we're getting ready to talk about be that group?
Yes.
So let's talk about that planning process and how it's different from this. So you said that your difference is that this group has a wide range of needs, and you have to plan different questions for kids based on their needs. So this group, you said the rest of your groups had like common needs. So let's talk about this next group and their common needs. What level would you say in your class, high, medium, or low with this level?
This is my medium group.
Okay.
And depending on the books, I can actually push them. I did push them last week to 24 because these students are accurate readers. It's solely comprehension that keeps them back, and that's DRA and like other areas of the day. So these students read really well.
Okay. So with DRA, it shows, but what are some other areas of the day or other assessment pieces that you see causes those issues?
Definitely in CKLA, I noticed when they have their decodable readers, like I said, they can really spit them out, and they can answer questions too as well. When it gets into those deeper questions, like author's purpose, what the author's trying to tell you, and even for some of them, like being able to retell too. So in CKLA, they do struggle with that. And then some of the students in here, like their comprehension is pretty strong, but they have trouble with fluency. They just read really slowly. And it shows even on their FAST assessments and progress monitoring. So they like show some of them like high risk, and it's not because they struggle with reading, it's just like their rate.
Does their rate get in the way of their comprehension?
No, it does not. They do pretty well with pieces of like the retail, but with the other areas it does affect.
Okay, so that deeper thinking.
Yeah, the deeper thinking. So yeah, this group definitely is like the deeper thinking that we have to push.
Okay, so let's kind of walk through how you're going to plan for this lesson.
Okay, so for this group, I guess mainly think about DRA for this group. And so of course, like the same process, I do read through the book, but I'm not focusing this time reading through the book for accuracy. I may just highlight maybe a specific skill from CKLA, because that's mainly where those kids need that application, more practice. So like whatever skill they're doing in CKLA, I may highlight it in here. So really reading this book for those higher level questions, I tried to use the, I didn't bring it with me, the little green guided reading prompt questions. And
that
like,
you created?
Yeah, that you created. So I have those in mind as I go through and read the book, thinking about where I can stop and ask them questions. And I'm looking for like key points in the story that the kids have to like include in their retell, and also have to like truly understand that part to be able to like tell author's purpose. So I'm like looking for that specific event and maybe like the character actions too that lead up to it. So as I'm reading, I'm like looking for those points of where I'm going to stop and question the kids. I also kind of have to plan for like where I'm going to stop the kids and ask the questions, because for these kids, I mean, with this, like I plan for multiple opportunities to stop them, whereas these kids, I kind of have to lay back when I'm going to stop them. So I got to think of
them to kind of grapple more with the
text. So I have to think
of
of like so I'm reading this, I'm looking for a good point to segue and talk about those key elements that are going to help them with their comprehension.
Okay, so it's evident that you can't write in this book, so how do you plan your questions so you can have everything right there?
Bunch of sticky notes, little sticky notes that I use, I stick on here. Sometimes I have it on like a separate sheet, but yeah, sticky notes and like note cards too as well.
And so you have our friend from this nonfiction group, he's also in this group. You see both of these groups. So is the student aware on why he's in like these two guided reading groups? And
yes, he's aware that he needs to work on his accuracy, and he sees it as that he gets, 2 opportunities to work on accuracy. And as well as, I haven't explained into it, but that nonfiction, because these kids aren't going to see nonfiction, but him getting that nonfiction is exposing him to like those very multisyllabic words and that background knowledge that he gets before he comes here. Okay. And sometimes, occasionally, I do like the leveled books where it's the same book but at like a different level, just so he's getting like fluent with his text. Okay. So he knows when he comes, he's like, yeah, I'm working on accuracy, but he knows also when he gets this story, like he's still working on accuracy as well.
Okay. So so do you use just basically this one book for the whole week since it's a DRE 20, or?
No, I try and use like 2 books.
Okay, so just about both of your groups, you really try to get in at least 2 books a week. What are some reasons why you don't stick with just that one book the whole week?
Was for these kids, my previous self, I don't stick with the 2 books because my intent is for them to become fluent, and obviously not sticking with it the whole week. Okay.
So like you say, because for both you said I tried to plan for at least 2 books every week. So what would be a reason why you would do 2 books and not just have 1 book Monday to Friday, same book?
Well, especially for the lower level books, I just don't think it becomes like rigorous enough for the kids to like read the same book again, especially once they've already become fluent with it and they understand it. And at this point, like I want the kids like just exposed to as much like of that vocabulary and those words as possible. So I tried to get to at least 2 books a week for those kids.
So that's a very good plan. So now that once you think about all these things, do you write your lesson plans first, or do you go through this thinking process, reading the book multiple times, thinking about your kids? I can like literally see your kids almost like they're standing in front of us, because like you know their needs very specifically.
So I think it goes like together. So I think about what's my learning target going to be for each day, and then like as I have that learning target, then I know, like that's where I told you I read the book for multiple purposes. So if the learning target is like I can preview the text and make predictions, so I go through reading the text and writing down my questions, just like that's gonna be toward that like learning target.
So you put yourself like in the shoes of the kids as you read through it, sounds like.
Yeah, I try to. I try to think about words that like we're gonna struggle with, and
this is really like an awesome planning process, Michelle. So
thank you
so much for meeting with me.
Thank you.